pros and cons for Baylor joining the ACC. If you're in the ACC Coastal, you can win the division. A little bit better conference in football compared to the Pac-12. Historically good men's basketball conference, strong women's soccer conference, like 5 preseason top 10 teams, Duke, Virginia, Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina. A winnable conference for women's volleyball for titles every year. Strong women's and men's tennis conference, though it's still up there, but it's not the best one between the two, between Pac-12 and ACC. Better times for sports games. Eastern time, yeah. More money potentially than the Pac-12. A good track and field, as well as cross-country conference. The softball is a little bit easier to win conference titles every year, too. And the women's and men's golf is really strong compared to the Pac-12. It's a winnable conference for baseball. That's all the pros. Here's the cons. It might be harder to win in men's and women's golf conference titles every year, and it's not as good as the Pac-12 on softball. It's not as strong in women's basketball. It's going to be harder to win men's basketball conference titles to win every year, but I think Baylor's going to be fine. It might be harder to win conference titles in football because, there's Clemson. Until Dabo Swinney leaves, I don't see Clemson falling off a cliff anytime soon, and you might have to play a cross-division game with them sometimes. And it's further away geographically. It's not as strong as the Pac-12 in volleyball, and same goes for softball and in baseball as well. It's not as strong in women's basketball. It might be harder to win conference every year in women's soccer, though I think they're going to be fine. Doesn't have an acro tumbling program compared to Oregon and the Pac-12. And there's no equestrian, of course, but that happened with the Pac-12. Well, and it's going to be interesting what happens from here on out. We'll see what happens with Baylor and the rest of the Big 12. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that.